It's not on there, bioequivalence? Sorry, I will post it on the break, okay? You will have it. So I got too many irons in the fire. You got to keep me honest, because I will not. I also left my coffee, but that's okay. I'll live for the first before we can. Sure. Of course, because you don't have to go print it. You can just do that, right? Okay. Yes, I will. Let me. Yeah, we're gonna do the bioequivalence. We're gonna do the workshop, but is the workshop on bioavailability or bioequivalence? There's both. Okay, we're gonna do bioavailability after we talk about bioavailability. We're gonna do bioequivalence first. Do you have a problem like this? Sorry, I'll go back in. I'll make another recording of that bioequivalence because I had paused the recording, so. Okay, so here we're gonna apply this information. So a new immunosuppressant is being studied. The following information is gathered. So we've got an IV and a PO capsule available. We gave the IV 10 milligrams and we gave the PO 20 milligrams. And here are the resulting area under the curves. So can you figure out the bioavailability for that capsule? Sure, right? We have the gold standard area under the curve for the IV. So we know that bioavailability is equal to what? Area under the curve of the, area under the curve of the PO over dose of the PO all over area under the curve of the IV over dose of the IV, right? I think I have it right there. But does that make sense to you guys? Shamaka, does it make sense to you? Good. All right, so plug and chug it. If you get something bigger than 1, you know you did it wrong. If you get something negative, you know you did it wrong, right? It's got to be between 0 and 1. Does everybody have time to calculate themselves? I want you to gain your confidence in doing it yourself. Yes. Well, in this case, it is absolute bioavailability because we're comparing it to the IV standard. Remember, absolute bioavailability is IV versus the world, right? Whereas relative bioavailability is comparing two products when you don't have the IV standard. Good question. You good? What'd you get? Michael, what'd you get? Okay, I got 0.797, something like that. 0.797, so you rounded it to 0.8, which is correct, right? So 0.8 is 80%, right? Or depending on, you all know how to round, right? So on a quiz, I will tell you what to round to, so there's no problems, right? So if I said round to the nearest thousandth, no wait, so this is 10th, 100th, 1000th. So we're gonna round to the nearest thousandth. So what's 7? That would stay like that, wouldn't it? If I say round to the nearest 100th, then it would be this, 80% or 0.8. Because it would be 0.80, wouldn't it? Everybody good? All right, good. Now, I want you to estimate the bioavailability of each oral product. So each oral product against the IV, right? So the absolute bioavailability of each oral product and the relative bioavailability for the two oral formulations. So these two against each other would be the relative, right? So go ahead and do that now. And I'm going to ask you to round these to the whole percentage point. So if we think about, it's got to be when you write it as a percentage, so it would be rounded to the hundredth if you're looking at a fraction. All right. What'd you get for formulation number 1? What's its absolute bioavailability? 80. Again, it's 0.8 or 80%. Very good. How about formulation 2? 76%. Does anybody have trouble finding that? Are y'all good? So formulation 2 is a little less bioavailable than formulation 1, but how do they compare to each other? Formulation 2 compared to formulation 1. Why did I put formulation 1 in the denominator? Yeah. Yes, and because that's has the higher bioavailability, so we're going to put the one with the higher bioavailability in the denominator. We can always flip it if it comes out to be greater than 1, because we don't want the relative bioavailability to be, it's going to also be between 0 and 1, right? So what'd you get for the relative bioavailability? What? 95. Okay, are y'all good? Y'all feel like you can? So which one of these would be considered bioequivalent by the FDA? Would both of them? Well, just on the area under the curve, that's all we have. We don't have T max or C max, but which of these would? Only formulation 1, right? Because the area of the curve is within 80%. Remember, you have to be between 80 and 125% of that area under the curve. Does that make sense to everybody? All right. I'm not going to have you do this because we need to get out and do Excel. Although if you like to do Excel, but I do want you to know how to do an area of the curve.